All right, here we are. Welcome to episode 40.
Nailed it.
Yeah, the first time that we looked ahead of time of the Strong and Petty podcast here in the Whiskey Tango studios in St. Vital, Manitoba, Winnipeg, etc.
Really got hard after 10.
Yeah, we just
It's like reps.
could not keep that fucking straight for the life of us, but we figured it out. And in fact, we mislabeled the last episode, so that's what made it confusing.
I blame
But
the producer.
I blame everything on the producer.
We
Absolutely.
pay him an exorbitant amount of money to do this.
Yeah, and he's not even here today, so
At least when he is here, he could be nice, and he's not even that.
And to be alive if you can't do that.
You know what's nice is
costs
Pat.
nothing to be kind, and you can't even do that for us.
Pat just texted me, "You fat bastard, you training today?" or something like that. Like you always,
Say yes and then don't go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just be like, I'm there right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna set up a time and I'll make him come early.
Yep,
Because he hates training early. But yeah,
Yeah.
but I can only do 6 while we train together, and then I'll show up at
and then
7:30.
just don't go at all.
Yeah,
That's what send a picture from a different gym. Be like, what's
Yeah.
up?
I'll actually walk from the front door out the back door and then to my house.
Speaking of people not showing up to things, and speaking of Pat not showing up to things, this weekend was the Forge Max Axle Max 18-inch deadlift. So all I'm going to say is all the city folk were there. These country guys can't handle any of these little winter roads. They get a little shook. They all drive their F-250s that they can't possibly make it through a little bit of a snowstorm
that's why
on.
They drive Fords, guys.
Holy smokes. We, no, it was,
How much did they raise?
fuck if I know. But
he
it was.
didn't post it. He didn't post it.
He hasn't posted it yet. I assume that they're just keeping all the money. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
New gym.
Yeah.
Times are tough. They got to hit.
I don't know what was raised. I would truly hope that everybody who didn't make it down there still sends in the $25 to read the quote unquote registration, the donation fee. But we good over there.
What is that?
I'm just checking the audio
Oh, I
levels.
get concerned when I see that.
What's in this? What's in this cup?
Jack Daniels Winter.
Warm piss.
That's good shit.
It's way too sweet for me.
Oh no, so yeah, you're a bitter old man. I'm still under 40.
Yeah, Devin's a sweet little boy. So
Just a
he's
sweet young little boy, man.
cherub face, little sweetie pie.
Baby, they call me the baby
Great
face.
term.
Yeah.
Cherub face.
That's a cherub.
I love that.
But yeah,
I
no,
always wondered how you know such big words, and I had like.
I'm a fucking genius. That's how. I'm the smartest guy in the room.
I think for a lot of gym guys, people underestimate your intelligence.
Yeah, no, I'm a
You mask it incredibly, but people underestimate.
I'm very good at hiding the fact that I know
I
things.
just
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, I remember a lot of guys in school who were like 90 students and so smart, and they haven't accomplished nothing to this day.
I'm the opposite of that. I was a very poor.
You just did good in ELA.
I scraped by. I don't even do that. I scraped by, and when I was in Gillum, I went to up to grade 8 in Gillum, and I realized at a certain point that it's like you don't really have to. Like they're just gonna push you through this. They don't really care that much.
Yeah.
And that was really kind of the beginning of the end of my school career, where I was like, I could really just show up and do the bare minimum here, and I'm gonna get through this.
Yeah.
And then that mentality does not carry you through university. Let me tell you that right now, and that's why I didn't finish university. But
Well, you went to university.
What's that?
You went to university.
I went for a very short period of time, and I wish that I'd gone there with like the attitude, like the perspective on life that I have on it now, because I just was not in any way.
I feel that about a lot of things. I wish. Yeah.
I went and worked like a full-time job for a little bit, and I was like, I didn't love that. So I tried university. I didn't love that. But I think that a lot of it was just like I was taking courses that were geared towards the stuff that I do now, and things that I've since had to take in different avenues in university. But I just like nobody could like show me like, hey, this is why this matters. You know what I mean? Like when you're taking like
There's no why.
No, and you're taking like a very basic like say I was taking stats. And I was like, how the fuck does this have anything to do with lifting weights? And it has so much to do with lifting weights and like interpreting research and things like that. And I was just like, I really wish that someone could have pointed to me like, this is one you got to know. You got to know this stuff.
That is one of the biggest downfalls. They put you through a bunch of shit and they don't tell you the end goal of what this is going to do.
Right. And then I honestly,
Coming from a guy
feel
who
like,
didn't go to university, but
yeah, well, like talking to Throne, say like he has to really slow things down for me when he explains things to me because he's got a university educated mind and I don't.
But he also gets excited when he talks.
Yeah.
And goes faster.
Yeah. Sometimes he can. Yeah.
He was in my office for a good hour the other day, hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm just going over things. And he's just explaining like his stats and the studies that he's doing for his course. And I'm like, Throne's like, I know you probably think I'm a smart guy, but like,
But he teaches me a lot too, though.
Doing siding, flipping houses, doing real estate,
Yeah.
stuff that comes a little more natural to me. Like this whole
if you can like just I was running a little bit slow behind today because I was just asking him questions. Like if you can go to him and you can ask him the stuff, like he just has this stuff just stored in his brain and he can just rattle it off to you. And I was surprised actually. I asked him a question today and he was like, "Well, it's in my textbook, and I don't remember that off the top of my head." And I was like, "That's weird because you remember everything off the top of your head." Like
even if it's dog shit boring, because the guy, but because he's so passionate about it. If anybody you talk to, if they're passionate about a certain subject, you'll listen. Yeah.
You care
just
more.
to see the passion.
Sure.
It was pretty cool talking to him. I didn't retain anything he said, but
that's what I need to. What I'm realizing now more and more is I just need to record things because I will be better off. Because I try to be like, I'm a smart guy, I'll remember all this, and then. It's like that's not how learning anything works. You don't go to any university thing or any school thing and just be like, listen and be like, there, now I know all this information. Like I just absorbed it all and I just have it. That's just not going to work for me at least. So we had the Forge. It was a max axle clean and press, a max 18-inch deadlift, sort of a spin on Static Monsters.
Yep.
Which as a teaser, he told me that he's considering hosting a Static Monsters thing this coming year. So that would be a fun addition to the Strongman.
Well, there has been none in Manitoba.
No, there's not so far.
Ben Thompson always puts it on there in Thunder Bay. Yeah, I think the guys over at does Metal put one on? No,
Metal did something different, I think, and then I think maybe Barbarian put one on or somebody. They do one in Saskatchewan somewhere.
Yeah,
and then I think that Sean puts one on in BC and stuff. So they have them all around, and they do one at Strength Edge. So it'd be nice to have that in Manitoba. I don't like for me personally. I don't love the events. Like I'm not a great log presser, and an 18-inch deadlift is kind of like, it's an 18-inch deadlift. Like that's cool, I guess, but. It doesn't do much for me personally.
It's like dunking on a mini hoop.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. And so it doesn't do a ton for me personally. But
a lot of people probably didn't like that.
But there's guys like there's Ryan Vance who pulls. I want to say he pulled like 950 or something on it. You know what I mean? Which is like that's when it gets cool when the numbers get really high like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And it's an axle too. Which makes
speaking of which, though, Mom Loli. Talking about high numbers.
Yeah. She got a 405 on the.
Is that 4 times body weight for God's sake?
Yeah, it was really awesome, and like Gian and her are custom built for an 18-inch deadlift, where it's like practically above their patella. It's not quite, but it's pretty close. But it's just nice to see them putting that kind of weight in the air. You know what I mean? Whatever might be.
Both did a 6-week Ben Thompson deadlift.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
nailed 4 times body weight. That's another guy who's capitalized on that.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, the rules are the rules. It's just like
he is a static monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody mocks him. They're like, you're short and do it. 18-inch pulls mean nothing. But you never see them mocking half throw doing stones to a 48-inch platform.
Right. Yeah.
When Ben's putting them off his forehead.
That's true too.
When like my group was competing, so many guys shit talked Ben.
Yeah.
And Ben just put his head down and worked worked, and it's like 1,000-pound trap bar and this, and every week it's a new ridiculous number on a different apparatus.
Yeah. And has several world records.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, that's dog shit. Well, then just beat the record and take it from him.
Exactly.
Like if it's so easy, just do it.
His competition style, for lack of a better word, is different than mine, where he does more specific lifts and I do full comps mostly, but I use him as an example of like weight gain, where he's 5'7" and he weighed 305 pounds at one point.
Yeah.
He did what I could never commit to.
Right. Yeah. And what a lot of guys who are 6 feet can't commit to.
Yeah.
So
I'm basically there.
Yeah. Exactly,
a lot further than Devin.
Sorry, I should say that we're all
You're a lot further away.
Two of the guys. One of the guys I was about to talk to we were measuring each other with a tape measure in my gym. And they were like, "Oh, I'm 5'10", he's only 5'7", and I was like, "No, you're both under 6 feet, and that's all that really matters." But anyway, the guy who's 5'7" he's trying to gain weight. He's trying to get to 190 pounds, which is he's a 19-year-old kid, so it's his first time doing a bulk of that of any kind. And he's saying how it's hard. And I said, "I know it's hard, but I'm going to show you something." And I asked Ben to send me a picture of him at his fattest, and it was just him at 305. I'm like, "This guy is the same fucking height as you, and weighs 305 pounds." Yeah. So it can be done. I'm not saying that it necessarily should be done by everybody, but it can be done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ben was all too happy to send that photo too. He was like, "Yes, sir," and like fired it off and like, told him what it was for, and he was like,
Scott
coming.
He was 300 pounds or 290.
Yeah,
300.
And if I recall properly, I'm taller than him.
That could be. Yeah, I would say about the same.
But
height,
he
probably.
also wasn't as not to call Ben, but Ben was a little fat at 305. Scott wasn't that.
No, Scott was a guy that I really like as someone to look at as like a competitor or somebody, because he's not Hapthor, where he's 6'8" and 400 pounds with abs, and you know what I mean. Like he's a guy where and I think of the same thing as like a Terry Rady or something, where he's not a guy where when he started strongman, people would be like, that's a guy who's going to do big things in the sport.
That was Paul V for me.
Right.
Yes.
Because he probably has 5 or 6 years on me. And when I was competing, it was one of those things where I'm like, everyone is 6'3", 6'4".
Right.
And I'm here at 5'11". And that's a big difference in strongman.
Right.
Stone loading and different things and just leverage and whatnot.
Just your arm length.
And then I'm like, I can't use it anymore because Paul's out there kicking ass.
Right. Yeah.
And
you're
just
a good
like
example of that. I really like the stories of the guys where it's you know, like you think of Dom, say, where he was a guy where it's like, we got to get this guy doing strongman. But I like the ones where a guy comes up to you and you're like, yeah, if you want to try, I guess. And then they just fucking, like Dan is a good example of that. Yeah. Where he's a guy where you wouldn't look at him and be like, you're going to be a great strongman someday. But I think he is, and he's proving that with his hard work. I think I told you, but when Dan first came to the gym, he was buying stones for me, and he had a goatee instead of his mustache. And I thought that he was like really old. he was like, you know, I'd really like to try this strongman thing one day. And I was like, hey man, like it's never too late. Like, you know, like there's a master's division, you can get involved, whatever. And then I find out that he's like 26 at the time, or whatever. 25 even, I think.
There's a master's. You could probably get one in before your CPP check arrives.
But yeah, sorry. For the meet, there was a huge day for. It ended up being pretty much just Forge people and Iron Age people. Because it was just the weather was shit. Like it was the shittiest thing where if they would have had the event 48 hours earlier, it wouldn't have been a problem at all.
Would have been fantastic.
24 hours.
Yeah, the whole winter season up till now, for anybody who hasn't been paying attention to Winnipeg winter weather, like we just got our first snowfall on Thursday night or Thursday during the day. It's been, or not our first one, but our first really crappy one. And it's been a really, really mild winter.
Well, no, it only kicked in Friday afternoon in the city.
Right. So so it was
raining till then.
It was just shitty timing where it really affected the highways, and we were driving out there in Deloli's truck, and there was a couple times where he hit a couple patches where I was like, oh, here we go, we're going into the ditch now, and we saw plenty of cars in the ditch.
Deloli owns a truck?
Yeah, he's got a big old what does he have?
He's an F-150.
Yeah, he's a Ford. Yeah.
Good for him.
Big truck guy now.
I just think of his old like Sentra or something that he used to pull up and
I always
that thing held together by shoestrings.
Yeah.
And just completely happy with it.
Yeah,
good for you, Deloli.
He's
good for you.
And I'm happy he has a truck because he drives a lot of our gym equipment around and stuff when we need him. So
I always say like driving winter is the opposite of sex. Because driving in winter, I'm always trying not.
On.
Ready?
Fuck, I don't even know.
I would say winter, I'm always trying not to slide into the asshole in front of me.
There you go. Beautiful. There, Devin Benner. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so he brought us out there, and even
don't act like you're not going to use that one.
No, yeah. Even the diehards from training grounds here couldn't make it out, but it was.
That's a shame. What happened?
Me, I was working.
Okay, so you speak for everybody.
There's only me there.
He's the leader of the.
Brian's in Hudson Bay working 20 some hours away.
Really?
Yeah.
You have
I had a fly-in reserve on an island.
And no other members at your gym, just the two of you?
It's just the two of us, yeah.
I don't blame anybody except for Pat for not showing up.
Danielle was working. Pat was halfway there. He could have went.
Pat should have been there, absolutely.
But
he's a big, tough farmer. He should be able to make a little drive like that. But.
I was supposed to be at the cabin. I told him I couldn't make it. I had 1 weekend to get to the cabin to get stuff done for Christmas. And then I didn't get there. I ended up working. Saturday and Sunday.
Somebody was nice enough to send $150 to be split between the 3 athletes that are doing the Arnolds, just as like a hey, like this is from the community kind of thing,
which is really cool.
Really, really cool thing to do. So I stole a thing that my brother does to me, which I sent Pat the money, and he has a security question on his thing.
I do it all the time.
So I made the security question: are you gay? And the answer, of course, is yes.
Yeah.
And he won't accept the money.
He won't.
Really?
He hasn't accepted it.
He hasn't accepted it.
He hasn't said nothing either.
He sent me a message and he's like, well, I keep typing no and it's not giving me the money, so sorry, I guess I can't accept your money.
The fact he's sticking to it.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
These Southern guys are just too easy. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So now I got to give him $50 next time I see him in person because I'm not changing it and he's not going to accept it. So we're at a bit of a standstill here.
That's really funny.
I'll let his wife know that he transfer $50, she'll make it accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vanessa, when you listen to this, because Pat will show you.
Yeah, make sure that you accept that damn money.
Yeah, I do that certain work where I pull money off me all the time. Yeah. So I just make it something the most inappropriate thing possible. And then
yeah, that's my brother's always done that one to me. But yeah,
I literally can't wait for the next time I have to eat transfer.
You know, I keep getting messages about my titties on Facebook.
Why
on Instagram.
We recorded Whiskey Tango podcast. Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And Denzel was like, you know, since you're the only one that has access to the account, why do you keep posting that picture? You sure seem to like it. Any excuse to put that pic, but it's great.
I had my biggest builder, the GM for the biggest builder, who gives me a lot of work. I think 14 minutes it was from when Strong Petty posted that image, and he sends me a text message. You need to stop. I'm like, is that one of those little things like when your sponsor's saying, you need to not do that?
That's not a good
and
idea.
I just messaged back. I just messaged something about, I forget what I had said, and he just laughed it off. But yeah, he told me he lives vicariously through me, through my Instagram.
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, when Jeffers sent me money, his question was, who's the best strongman in Western Canada?
That's good.
That motherfucker makes me text his name to accept his money, which is the worst part of all. So yeah, we keep going on to little tangents here, but the Forge thing went really. Just put a cap on that. The Forge thing went really well. We raised some money. The Candlelighter Society, the person was there to kind of give us the rundown of what they do and what they are. I wasn't really aware, to be honest with you, like what their whole situation was. But they're all people.
I don't either.
I don't. Yeah.
So it's like a board of people who they've all been like personally affected. I think all of their children have had cancer. I think is what it is. So it's people who have been personally affected by it on a way that you would pray that no one would ever be affected by it with. And so they collect money. They do things like they pay for the parking that people have to pay for when they go to the hospital, because for some fucking insane reason you have to pay for parking at the hospital. I've never understood that.
And an arm and a leg.
Yeah, and it's expensive too.
Disgusting.
It's not enough to just keep cars moving and like whatever. It's like it's insanely expensive.
$20 or $30 a day.
Well, yeah, and imagine if you're there for a month. You know what I mean? The money that you'd spend on that, it's insane.
Yeah. $1,000.
Yeah, it's shit like that. Or they have things where it's like if you're spending a lot of time there as a parent or whatever, they have meals ready for you and stuff because the hospital food's not so great or whatever, right? So just things like that. So it was really nice to be able to help them out in whatever little way we were able to. And I wasn't so sure if I was going to lift. I was kind of feeling just like I've been deloading this last little bit since Cuba, and just kind of been feeling like shit. But it's like, yeah, I'll jump in. Why not? And it was a really fun time. I was really glad we did it. And the Forge Gym, have you been there yet?
No, it's a nice place.
Great facility.
I figured.
Yep.
Yeah, I figured it would be.
Yeah, I would say like a medium-sized building. Got a nice strip of turf. Everything is brand new. Like nothing they got was.
No, he ordered it all brand new.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was.
What equipment does he have?
It's all brand new.
York plates.
He's got
a bunch of bells of steel stuff too.
It's bells of steel. York. It's just everything you could want. Like in a very like they got the whole rack of dumbbells. They got the cable crossover. They got the pull down. They just everything you could want in a gym like that, and all the strongman equipment too on top of it. Everything was really nice and clean, and I really think that they have something there, and I hope that people who are in that area will consider. I know they have like a really big Snap Fitness in there, in Winkler. We drove by and we saw that, but I don't know. There's a whole lot of options for gyms in Winkler, and there's certainly not a whole lot of options for like really cool gyms like that. So,
and I've always preferred to support a private owner
for sure,
than a franchise. And I know the franchise is owned by a private guy because they just buy the franchise, but
that's different though.
I like the small town guys who are trying to build it
for sure, and they don't need the help. Frankly, the Snap people they're doing fine.
They have
So if you're in the area, or we're gonna do. I was talking to Throne today. We're gonna coordinate a little like team drop in there sometime in the spring or whatever, just to get out there and check out the facility and stuff. So,
well, he has certain nights he's a strongman.
Ryan does?
Yeah, he puts on like he'll do it for free or a $5 drop, and then he'll teach you some stuff. He has certain.
That's
nights
great. There was a few people there. So it was mostly Iron Age people, and then it was a few people who were from the Forge, who were just brand new. Like they were all, and Cody Ryan was there too. Can't forget Cody. But they were like brand new. It seemed like, and just trying new stuff, and it was just great to see that. You know what I mean? And a few people just kind of popped in just to check it out and say what's up, and that was nice. And the best part of all, nice quick day.
Yeah,
because we couldn't. I told him, I was like, just so you know, like, and it wasn't even close to this, but I was like, we got to be gone before it started.
Well, Lane drove all the way from.
Oh, Lane, of course,
Robin,
yes. Lane drove in. Yeah, Lane made a hell of a drive to get there to be there for it. So respect to him for that. But yeah, I was like, we got to be out of here before it's dark because we're not chancing that, and we were done. I think the whole thing took an hour and change.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we just motored through it. It was like there's probably a dozen lifters, maybe I would say.
Okay.
A dozen, 15.
Yeah.
And we just did rising bar. Yeah. So some people went a couple times in a row, and that was fine because everyone was pretty manageable with that. And Big Baz was there. He had his first taste of competition.
Man,
which is very exciting.
Good for him.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Basil's my He's turning 60 in February. My client, who Beeks used to train at the old facility, and he's a character to say the least.
Well, you would never guess that he's sliding into home on 60.
No, that's worth pointing out too.
And
he loves to point that out. He loves to talk about
so that's part of his personality for sure. The guy doesn't have a mean bone in his body.
Nope.
He's very eccentric, but the guy that I met and trained compared to who you have now is
he's
big changes.
He's cut the reefer out of his life.
Yeah,
which has been
that's been a big one for him.
It's been a bit like he used to like he would start a conversation and you'd be like, Baz, I have no idea who we're talking about or what you're talking about or like he would kind of start the conversation halfway in his head, I think, and then all of a sudden you'd walk up and be like, so anyway, I was telling this guy and blah blah. I was like, what are we talking about?
I have
right
a lot
now?
of employees like that.
Yeah, so now he doesn't do that anymore. But he's been a very a really nice addition to our gym actually. So
great dude.
It was nice. It's always nice when you get somebody where he really never thought that he would do something like that. So it's always nice to pull somebody into something like
that. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I told him I was like, it's not competing. It's an exhibition. We're doing something for charity. Yeah, that's the best way to think about it because there's not going to be any nerves or at least not as many nerves that way.
Yeah,
and it's a good time.
Yeah.
Did anybody check out the MPA meet? I know Martin competed. He got his PR
Martin,
squad he wanted, which is awesome.
And
Chris,
he got his total that he needed for provincials.
Yeah, Chris competed for my gym.
Yep, Chris and Martin were in the same class, I believe.
Yeah, Chris.
So
he did well. He won that. Went to where he got provincials, and then Amy. She helped us.
Amy was a huge help at nationals.
Huge help. Yeah, she competed too. I seen.
She competed. And I think that's her first or second competition, and
she's hit all PRs.
Yeah, she did a great job. She's awesome. She's just a really I think that she might be one of the more volunteering people in like muscle sports because I'm including bodybuilding even in that.
Okay.
And she doesn't do any of them. Like she just like she's never done like she wants to do strongman. She's never done it, but I think she's helped out at like 3 competitions or something. Yeah. And she helps out at all the powerlifting stuff, and she helps out at bodybuilding competition stuff because she just likes to be a fucking
I just met her at
helping
nationals.
person,
I had no idea who.
She's great.
You knew her, and actually I didn't know Gordon. They were good friends there too.
Yeah, there's all kinds of weird. You find these weird connections all the time.
So that's who's squatting for us next weekend at Atolo.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So she'll squat more than I can deadlift. So
why don't you? You keep thinking that you're done with fucking events in the year.
Yeah.
How could there possibly be something later than December 11th? But there always is. There's
always Jim's doing a fundraiser this weekend, and I should have. I'm competing with Gord. Gord asked me to deadlift. I'm like, I can't deadlift, but I've been back deadlifting for a couple weeks, if that, with my back. It's there, but I'm gonna do it. And I told Tyler before. I mean, it's a pride thing. So I'll be lucky.
Tallest by Tav.
Yeah, it's in
Windsor Park there.
Yeah, Windsor Park. That's
like I'll be lucky if I deadlift over 500 pounds right now with my back swing. But and it is what it is. Gord, just come out. I know it's charity, and what do we tell everybody here? Just go for deadlift. Just pull a token. No one cares what you lift.
Right.
But yet I don't want to pull it.
But it's hard. It's very easy to tell somebody that
because Casey messages me. Why did I see you listed here? You're deadlifting? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm like, you're going to be there. He's like, yeah, what are you going to pull, like 700? I'm like, man, I'm lucky I'm pulling over 500 right now. Like, I'm going to pull less than I did naturally 13 years ago. Like,
it's one of those things where you're like, I've told a dozen people this year alone, hey, don't worry about it. Like, we're just doing it for charity. No one's going to care.
Literally why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But it's when it becomes you who has to swallow that pride and do it.
That's what Gord said. Devin, you're the guy who says, yeah, I guess I do say that. So I'll come and pull. And it's not going to be impressive. I might even bring a belt with.
But why don't you give the details on the where and the when on that?
Man, I don't know the time. I think it's 11 o'clock at Atolo Gym on this Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah, it's a fundraiser. Man, I don't know. I looked it up and I already forgot. I think it's for some children's fundraiser. If I'm correct, it's for toys for Christmas or something. But I mean, I
believe what it is that one of their members has a story of like a. I don't want to get into it because I might have it wrong. I know
I'm gonna look it up to make sure
they posted something about that, but yeah, maybe get the actual details on it.
We shouldn't. Yeah.
So if you're kicking around on Saturday with nothing to do, go watch Devin humiliate himself with a really bad deadlift.
Thanks, guys.
And that'll be at least fun to watch.
Could he be the first guy to get booed at a fundraiser?
I'm fighting in the parking lot.
Have you been to a Talo before?
No, I was going to say that.
It's a Christmas toy drive.
Christmas toy drive.
The 7th so they've been doing this is the 7th year they've done it.
Oh wow, good for them.
In memory of Emily. So obviously
I didn't. Yeah. I thought there's some personal connection to it for them, but
yeah, it's for Children's Hospital, which is pretty cool. So I'm all good for that.
Yes.
11 a.m. Teams of 3. Drake does it every year. He benches someone, obviously.
Yeah, he'll put up 700 or 800 pounds probably.
Yeah, probably beat my deadlift with his bench.
He'll beat a lot of teams' totals with his bench. Probably.
And then
Drake.
Drake.
Big Drake.
So he'll smash my deadlift with his bench, and I'll just remind him that I beat him at the last open comp we did in strongman.
Oh, there you go. You gotta hold on to those things. You heard that, Jeffers? Those old competitions matter, you motherfucker.
Yeah. No, but Drake never beat me after.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that matters that much, to be honest with you. But
yeah, screw you, Jeffers.
Speaking of Jeffers, I'll ask both of you guys this: when you guys were first getting into, let's just say heavy lifting. Let's not even say like specifically strongman or whatever. Heavy lifting. What was a number that you heard when someone deadlifted it and you were like, "Holy shit, that guy's getting strong"? What was the number on that deadlift for you?
Back then, for me, if someone pulled 700 back then, it was
7.
Like 800 is where I wanted to get to always. But if someone pulled over 7, like that guy's getting to the elite level.
Okay, that's kind of what I had too in my head.
What did I say? 708.
Yeah,
600 was good.
A good deadlift,
but more and more guys were doing it.
Yeah.
But 600 in a small gym was the biggest guy.
Yeah, and ahead of that is finishing a sentence. So, big accomplishment around here.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
but when guys are pulling 7 consistently, you're a strong motherfucker.
Right. That's kind of what I had in my head too. Is I remember when I was starting, like Dom, eventually was hitting 8, which just seemed like, well, that's just Dom. Like that's not something that we could even strive for. You know,
it's
what
an
I mean?
anomaly.
Right. And then even recently when I hit 7 and Thrones had done 7 before me, I think, and I was like, man, we are 2 strong motherfuckers. Like we are really running away with this deadlifting thing. So Jeffers posted a video.
The Ace and Gary of deadlifting.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffers only hit 800 this year, if I'm right. Beginning of the year, or was it end of last year?
I want to say, maybe towards the beginning of the year, he hit 815 in the suit, I think.
Yeah.
So he just did OSG, and he was still feeling peaked and good after it and stuff, so he took the week, and then he threw on the suit, and then he hit... have you seen this video already?
It's ridiculous.
You saw this? So he threw on his suit, and he hit just like what he could hit that day. And I would say that he hit it at an RPE of 8.5.
You're not an RPE guy.
Oh yeah.
Are you really?
I am. I've come around to it.
Wow.
Let's just say
let's have this conversation after. This is a good talking point. Actually.
But let's say it's an RPE of like 8.5. So he could. I think if he wanted to, he could have ground out one more rep on that one. Do you want to say what the did you guess the weight might have been?
Low 9s.
908. 905.
Dang, gummit.
Yeah,
I went over.
And he smoked 905.
Yeah.
Like I was sitting with one of the young guys in my gym. There I was like, "This is who I have to compete with. Are you aware of this? Like, this is a guy who's, like, that I think that might be the heaviest deadlift in Western Canadian history.
Which means he put on 100 pounds of deadlift this year.
Yeah, and
because he used a suit earlier in the year at 815.
Because as an example of the question I asked you guys, like, Scott Cummin was on the medal board with I think 8, the mid 8s, I think 860 maybe, and that just seemed like wow, like I could never even imagine to hit that. You know what I mean? Like that's insane. And to have a guy who's now getting like way higher than that, it's pretty insane. He hit that at World's Strongest Man, Scott did.
What's insane is the amount of lifters coming out of a small gym of metal.
Yeah, that's true.
You got Isaac Mays, who won Worlds. Melissa Peacock, who's one of the best in the world.
She's also won her category Worlds too.
And James Jeffers, who's now one of the top strongmen in Canada right now.
I would say he's easily in the top.
Yeah.
Whatever the CSM standings are usually what we would take as being sort of like the obviously, right?
Yeah.
But I think that if you ran 5 competitions, I think that Jeffers has a good chance of winning several of them with the top strongman in
I think
Canada.
next
you know
year,
what I mean? Like when the events change up and things like that, I think that he's
next year I could see him qualifying for the heats. We're getting into Giants Live to get to the heats to WSM.
I don't think it's crazy
if his off season goes well.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy. These guys are like so. Wes Derwinski just posted today that he got his Giants Live invite.
And same with Hoth.
So
I think those 3.
Hoth did too?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Derwinski.
Oh yeah,
Hoth,
and
Jeffers
and Joey Lavallee is a guy too, where he's right up there with those guys too. And we have this spread from across Canada. It's just amazing. And so congrats to Wes Derwinski for getting his invite there because that's fucking huge. There's very few Canadians who've ever gotten that invite. So
Ben Thompson went to Giants Live.
Ben Thompson went to Giants Live. He sure did.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't think I realized at the time like what that meant.
How big that was.
Yeah. I don't like someone explained to me. It's like, oh yeah, it's like the feeder system for Worlds, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But it just didn't register for some reason. But yeah, congrats to those guys because that's crazy, and congrats to Jeffers on a huge fucking deadlift PR because that is
905
out of this world.
Yeah.
Like it's just
remember the last time when you hit 905 there? You didn't use a suit or straps.
I don't know if I could total 905 between all 3 lifts right now.
Yeah, I want to pull
After
it
you
up.
watch my deadlift this Saturday, you will know I won't total 905.
It's the first one there. I just want to get your reaction of you watching it. You can.
Yeah. The one that's pinned.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna get Beakley's reaction live. That's what YouTube does for 1 million views.
Yeah.
There's way too many hitches. It's 3 red lights.
Now the only thing better than that.
That's
lift,
insane though.
It's insane. Yeah.
The only thing better than that lift is his wife put a video out today.
Yeah.
Making fun of him deadlifting.
Of her impersonating his deadlift.
Yeah, and she's
Really?
just like.
For him, that's no hitching.
Yeah.
Normally he's a hitching ass motherfucker.
yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing for him.
Well, when he started coaching with Terry, I remember him Jeffers posting a video because Terry had told him no more hitching, and he's like retraining his deadlifts, and he posted something about I'm not allowed to hitch anymore unless he's trying to do straight deadlifts because he's
He had good speed off the ground.
That's what I said to him too. I was like, your speed off the ground is insane. Like that's just like ridiculous. He's using that suit really, really well.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put most of it on the suit actually. Now that I think about it.
I think he's probably 700 deadlift without it.
Yeah.
He's just I'll give him this backhanded compliment of he's really, really good at using that suit. Like he's really got that suit figured out. He's putting easily, I would say, 200 pounds on with that suit. It's impressive.
That's a skill.
It's
not
really hard
not
to
a lot
do.
of people.
Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to be really good at the suit and put on so much
Jeffers.
More. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The only guys I know that pulled off is Superman, Batman,
and Jeffers now.
Jeffers,
Congratulations on being really good with
maybe
your suit.
Iron Man. Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to touch on here was, I meant to put it last time, and we just had so much to talk about that I didn't talk about it. But we have the events announced for the Arnolds that our guys will be going for.
Sweet.
That we have Dan Cadger, Lil Patty, and
and Garrett.
Pat Gregoire and Garrett Wurstjuk.
Is it Wurstjuk?
Yeah.
Ukrainian or Polish or what the hell?
He's Polish, probably, right?
Oh, he looks Polish.
Yeah, he looks like a Polak.
He will correct us on our YouTube page tomorrow morning by 8 a.m.
Hey, make sure if we have it wrong or right, tell us,
Would be,
Garrett.
That would be my guess.
Yeah. So
I thought he'd be done cutting to U80 actually after national, and maybe I'm speaking, but I think if he wouldn't have qualified for next year's, I think he would have went to U90. I really feel he would have.
I hope that guys do. I hope that guys, even if you get second, say at the U80, like I know that the temptation is probably there to be like, I just need one more year and I can get first. But like you've proven that you can compete at that weight class at a high level. Like go to 90, or if you did that at 90 and you got the podium, go to 105.
And if his bicep had, but if his bicep wasn't torn, he would have had first. Yeah, so that's what sucks. So he had it, but then it tore his bicep, and it is what it is.
Yeah, so he's gonna have one more season, but
in the middle of the event.
But the Arnold's is so early.
Yeah,
it's at the.
But he's also qualified OSG.
True. Yeah.
End of next year, so is he going to hold U80
but
all
then,
year?
But then that's all the more reason that if I was him, I would do one cut for the Arnolds and one cut for OSG.
Can you move up a category at Arnold's and OSG, guys?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the rules are for that.
Like I know Strongman Corp, you can. Yeah. You can move up. You can't move down.
I'm not sure when they have that many athletes how much they want to fuck around with that, but it's possible, I guess.
Just wait. Strongman Corp
allows you. So if you qualify U80.
Yeah.
And then you don't make weight the next comp or at provincials, you can move in the U90 category still qualified, but you can't qualify U90 and then move down into the U90.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Because you didn't make the weight cut to qualify. So they allow you to move up, not down.
Yeah. If I was him, I'd be doing 2 cuts, and if he's walking around at like 205, which I think he's pretty much does.
210, yeah.
I would just compete at 105 then. I wouldn't even do water cuts really. Like for the competitive season here in Manitoba, I would just do what you're doing because you've got your 2 big shows planned this year.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you can get to nationals, which I believe he could in like the 90s, then just do that. You know what I mean? But whatever, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. So the first thing that we have, and I do like these events for our Manitoba guys too. Yeah. With each guy has kind of something that maybe won't be so hot for them. Actually, I think it's kind of one event for all of them. But we have a press
showing up for Pat,
getting in his truck and getting down there.
Try not to join in on this.
Entering a password.
So we've got a press medley. It's going to start with a keg. This is a kind of a strange one that we have never seen before. Moving to a barbell with chains attached.
4 feet of chain suits. The chains will not touch the ground.
It won't touch the ground, so it'll be a swing, unless you're Pat. So it'll be a swinging.
He split jerks the chains hit and screw him up.
Or like completely unloaded on the ground.
You can use that $50 for an Apple box.
I'm actually just, since I'm programming him, I'm actually just going to program him overhead squats with the chains to the ground, so he can get used to walking.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Just get under the bar and squat it up.
So call me fat, you piece of shit.
A 12-inch Rogue log, a Cerberus sandbag, and then a Rogue axle.
Does it say the barbell's going to be out of a rack?
It won't, I'm sure that it won't.
Oh, you didn't let him get to it because he was still talking when you started.
He was done.
I'm sure that it won't be. I'm sure that it won't be. They said bumper plate, so I'm sure it's off the ground. And then a circus dumbbell. So 6 events or 6 implements. Big run.
A 6 implement medley?
Yeah, that's tough.
No thanks.
The weights aren't crazy.
Catch me at the buffet.
Yeah. The weights aren't crazy, but just that succession of pressing is going to be tough.
Did you say with the chains, it's bumper plates?
Yes.
Oh, you got to clean and press up with chains. That'll be interesting.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be, it'll think almost like.
But it doesn't say clean and press. That's why I was confused. It's a press medley. So is it with bumpers in case people drop them and saves the floor?
Yeah.
I'm almost sure that they'll be doing it from the ground. I would really be surprised if it wasn't. But
I mean, that being said, I don't know if I've like a press medley. Everything's off the ground.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes me think that. Yeah.
Clean and press the chains just as you're trying to
That's
pull it up,
cheeky.
it's getting heavier.
Yeah. Well, and then
Take a
when
link
you
in
get
the
to
tooth.
when you get to here, it's going to swing you back and swing you forward.
Yeah, the chain whips up and whack.
Yeah.
You catch, sway backwards,
Right.
try to get settled, pull you forward and away
that's-
from your body.
And that's what's happening with the yoke at OSG.
Oh, yeah,
Was
that,
that
The-
it was
the
like
pendulum?
the pendulum effect,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I was just talking to Jeffers about that yesterday, where he seemed like a lot of those guys who were crushing those numbers in training. Same with the deadlift too, crushing those numbers in training. Just showed up and they weren't ready for that event, those 2 events, the ladder or the medley. And I was just chatting back and forth with them. We both kind of agreed that it might have been guys just weren't training, moving from implement to implement.
yeah, that could be.
Because let's say you're doing a ladder, like if you're moving from a deadlift to a deadlift to a deadlift, you're just dialed in, deadlift, dialed in, deadlift. But if we're talking about like a press medley where the things are going to change. So you're going to first run up and you're going to do a keg. That has its own very unique technique that you have to use. Then you got to go and do a barbell with chains, which is going to be not only its own unique thing because it's a barbell, but now you add the chains to it. So you have to recalibrate yourself and then dial back in every time that you walk up to a new implement.
Yeah.
You have to walk. So following that is a log. It's another different, its own unique thing. The sandbag, like the only thing that would be similar would be the axle and the barbell, and I think that you would do a continental for the axle. And you could probably power clean the barbell. So nothing's going to be similar in the way you get it to your chest.
Have you ever done a sandbag press?
I just did one in Cuba.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
clean. I thought it was just sandbag to shoulder for you.
It was a medley. It was you press the first one, then you do the sandbag to shoulder for the second one.
How was that? Just gripping it. Was it easier to stabilize because your hand sunk in?
Yeah, because you can kind of
And for
grab
instance, a stone
grab the top of the bag too, right?
Oh, okay.
So you eliminate all this pressing movement here by just grabbing right here, and then it's just.
Yeah.
So for a guy like Dan, who's shorter armed, or Pat, that's going to be a really good one
They
for
can
them.
really lean back. And
That's why I said specifically like this for these guys too, because it's the keg, the sandbag. Those are all very short range of motion friendly presses, and just the pressing in general is going to be good for them, I think. So
I think the pressing, because Pat, we were doing some blast presses the other day at the gym, log press.
Yeah.
And he blast pressed 320 like nothing.
nice, that's awesome.
And I'm like, okay, his log's getting up there now.
Yep, his clean is what needs a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's old fashioned like me, so we don't ever clean.
What's that?
So he's old fashioned like me, so we don't clean.
This fucking guy over here. This is the one that I'm a little bit concerned for our Manitoba guys, but it's going to be just a
Where's
matter
the Wisers Club clap for me?
just a matter of practice, and I think they'll be able to take care of this. Is the Cerberus ascending sandbag toss? You choke on that?
That's karma.
And I like this, and I think we're going to steal this for a competition this season because we have those 3 throwing implements.
Yeah.
But what they're going to do is they're going to have, I think they have only 2 or 3 bags each. I think it's 2 bags,
Yeah.
2 sandbags, and then they have 3 apparatuses that of ascending heights that they have to throw them over. So they have, for example, they have the men's open is a 50-pound bag and a 60-pound bag, which is pretty heavy. So the first one is 15 feet. So they'll throw it over, they'll chase it. The second one is 16 feet. They'll throw it over, they'll chase it, and the third one is 17 feet.
So do they throw both over, chase, both over,
No, it's
chase?
one back to the front, and then get the rest.
Oh, and then you're going to try my
a
goodness.
60-pound bag to 15 is hard enough.
50
and then
pounds
16,
to 17
17
feet.
Yeah.
After third throw and then going to 60.
Yeah.
Very few will make it through that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's going to be a real. If somebody can finish, that's going to be really big points for them because that's going to be
Some
a
guys
tough
going to
one.
blast that thing like
Well,
18
there will be a
seconds.
ringer who's just an amazing. Maybe a guy who has a great who's like Olympic lifting kind of guy.
Yeah.
Because somebody who's really explosive is going to really crush that one, and they're going to get some good points for that. Unfortunately, our
What's the UNO? Actually, I have it all screenshot. What's the U105 weight there?
the U105 weight is 40 pounds and 50 pounds with the same height.
If Pat can control his shit, he would smash it. Did I tell you the time we were throwing bags and he threw it across my yard and onto my sea can?
Yes, you did say that.
The bag, I
Which is
missed.
awesome.
We're setting up bags, and I set up a little lighter one just to get him warmed up, and he thought it was like a 40 or 50 pound bag. He grabbed it and launched it, and it was from the front of the shop across the grass and lands on the sea can. I had to climb the damn sea can with a ladder, get my bags off.
I like how obviously like Pat goes into like full retard mode where he grabbed it and just didn't notice that it was lighter. Like just couldn't feel it in his hands that it was a little bit lighter.
Oh, I had a good my football kids on the weekend.
Yeah.
13-year-olds. There's ones that look like you, and then all the way down to Pat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. So I got one kid that's doing 3 plates on the sled, and then I got one kid that like struggles with a 45.
Mm-hmm.
You get to that point where you're tired and you're just trying to get it done, and the big kid just grabs the high horns and books it, and like 2 steps in, just eats shit on the
Oh, really? Jeez.
There's only 1 plate on. So he put this force like he's going after 3 plates, and the prowler just flew and
past
ate
him? Oh,
shit
that's
so
funny.
bad.
Well, you're a
That's
big football
awesome.
guy. Do you remember from Winnipeg, Mike Zylstra? Like bodybuilder?
Zylstra? Yeah.
So his son just got, University of Connecticut committed him for full scholarship.
Nice.
That's huge.
And that's the first offer. I was talking to Mike there, and he's got a couple other offers coming in from like Penn State or different things. A different university want him to come to, which is a kid out of Winnipeg.
Yeah,
It's phenomenal.
It's huge. We mentioned Skinny's signing, didn't we? Or did we not?
I don't know if we did.
Do you want to give the details in case we didn't? Because
I feel like we did.
I would love to shout him out if we didn't.
I gotta remember the school.
It was an Alabama one, wasn't it?
It was an Alabama one.
An Alabama one,
Yeah.
not the Alabama one, but But anyway,
it's all.
It's a huge
incredible.
fucking deal. Yeah, it's a huge deal. I was gonna say that my cousin got married the same time that I was in Cuba and Mexico.
Oh yeah.
And his one of my cousin is my age, and one of his good friends is Chris Walby. If you're familiar with him,
I know him.
like one of the old bombers.
Yeah.
I think he's like closer to my dad's age than he is to my cousin's age. But
Yeah, he is.
he said that his Walby's son was like his best man. He's like 6'8" or something.
Well, Chris Wally's ex-wife, but I did her house personally.
Oh yeah, I bet you
so,
did.
yeah,
eh?
and the kids were just
They're monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, Braden, aka Skinny B, committed to North Alabama.
Nice. Congratulations to Braden on that, because that's
huge.
Yeah, that's a big
Well,
fucking
he
deal.
gave a big thank you to you in that post.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
he
did.
did.
That
Yes, I read
that was
that.
really nice to read. And the old picture of you guys at the gym was cool to see too.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, respect to Skinny for that, because he's a guy who's just you want to talk about one of those guys who's just like not really built to do it, right? Like he's just this soup. I mean, his name's Skinny for a reason,
Yeah.
right?
But he's just the hardest worker.
Just a hard worker, and he's put on a ton of size, and he's just like
Yeah.
it's just good to see
That's
that
awesome.
he's a quiet kid.
And the right attitude. Like last year for his high school team,
Yeah,
played defensive end, defensive tackle, tight end,
Right.
and left offensive tackle.
wow, yeah,
And pretty much at an age where kids are trying to specialize, so schools get a look at them and like, this is your position, and you're,
right.
he's just like whatever helps the team.
Whatever helps the team. That's
And-
respect for that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's him and his dad.
yeah. His
Like,
dad, I was gonna say his dad too is a great guy who's always been a pretty big proponent of everything that we do.
huge
All of us
supporter.
do, yeah, in the
Huge
gym. Yeah,
supporter.
he's just Trevor and Skinny, both just great guys.
I just like seeing guys out of Winnipeg get, because you don't hear of many getting to that level.
Especially football.
Like Mike Zylstra's boy, I mean, he's grade 10, 6'3", 280.
Yeah.
Defensive line.
We just don't have the numbers here.
No, we don't. Well, a kid out of my gym got committed to college for baseball.
Right, and that's a weird one
I
too.
don't know
You
if
know.
I talked about that on here.
Yeah, we did. You mentioned that
like
before.
his
Yeah.
Pop, so he's actually out this month. I'll chat with him some more, and it's just nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when it's those not typically Canadian sports. Like as amazing as it is when a kid gets picked up by the NHL or whatever, it's when someone goes to the NFL or to a major university, or someone goes to like to play ball like at a major school or something. That's just really cool.
But
you
even
know?
a full red scholarship is
I mean,
over
shit.
$300,000,
Especially in the States. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
crazy.
a lot of money.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the third event, which I think will be the last one. No, that's right. There's 4. The third event for the Arnolds, for the AMs, is the Anderson lever squat with Trump weight.
And it's on a Viking press apparatus.
Right. So it's are you familiar with the idea of an Anderson squat?
No.
Okay. So the Anderson squat is starting in the bottom.
Okay.
So these guys will start at the bottom of like I kind of called it.
I think they had that at Motors and Muscles one year.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. I think I've seen pictures of that.
Yeah.
So you'll start at the bottom of the squat. It'll be like on a machine, and
treat.
what's that?
What a treat.
Yeah, and it'll be.
Yeah.
There's two weight selections, which I thought was strange, but
Spider Strength's providing the apparatus. That's James Diefenbaugh.
oh, nice.
You would remember him. We competed back yet.
He was like the OG making your own tacky.
Yeah, and he actually won America's Strongest Man 2 years ago too. Like he went
Awesome.
he went up there. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be 2 options. Like for example, the men's open is either 492 or 615. I know
Holy
that
shit.
Dan will be going for that 615. You can wear knee wraps. Can you imagine getting yourself into the hole for a squat, wearing like how uncomfortable that's going to be?
And they're waiting for the up command.
Yes, yeah. So you can finally fucking squat.
Kinda,
Like
start on my knees, like underneath.
maybe that. Yeah, maybe.
And then waddle forward.
I guess you could just drop. I mean, if you really just drop and like push yourself down into it, like I don't know. Well, me and Dan will have to play around with him. We'll figure it out, I guess.
Because he's getting close to 600. He's got to be around there.
Oh yeah, he'll especially on a machine apparatus like that. But it's tough to say because of the dead stop,
Have you
right?
seen the apparatus?
No, have you?
I was online today for a good hour, and I found a Spider Strength Viking press apparatus that he uses in comp from 2022.
Okay.
And I'm positive the same thing. I'll send you a video.
Yes, please.
But it's pretty cool. It'll be good.
And this one here is interesting too. That will be tougher for Pat and Dan, but I think that they just have the motors to be able to make up for it. Which is so it'll be sandbag carry to sled drag, and I'm just reading their right up here. It says, in this event, competitor will carry 2 sandbags, 30 feet each, and load them over a crossbar onto a sled, and then drag the apparatus 30 feet back across the starting line. Now, with not keeping height into a factor of this at all, I love that event for all 3 guys.
Yeah, and it's only 48 inches. Good thing.
Well,
no,
yeah,
50, or is it 52?
It's a little higher, I think. It's
52.
52, I think.
Yeah.
The loading height for both the UO5 and Men's Open is 52 inches. Yeah. So it's not insanely high. We do higher than that at our, right? We do?
Yeah, we do higher than that in a load.
Yeah. So it's very doable for those guys. For the open guys, it's a 309 and a 353 sandbag. So it's no fucking joke for those. But I know that if we can get those loaded, Dan's going to be able to just put it into dumb mode and just drag that thing back.
He'll go into Beaks chain drag mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. the legend himself.
I'm going to bring you into coach on that one.
If we're looking at Pat's weights, it's 287 and 309, so still very heavy, and like a 310, we'll call it, sandbag, like just or the 350 especially that Dan's going to be doing. Just the hard part is lapping it. It's so far in front of you. Yeah. Like you really have to like row it essentially and bring it to your lap. I had to do one at CSM. And I just like remember grabbing it, and I once I had it here and I extended with it, I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty easy. But getting it to your lap was like really, really brutal.
And being fast when I found when I was training with Tom and I did sandbag week after week, my fingers hurt so bad from jamming my fingers trying to raise the bag.
Yeah, I would get that too.
It was brutal from week to week. I'm like, Tom, I don't know what to do with my fingers anymore.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm pulling them, like just yanking them out. Yeah,
I found that I was happy once in a while too. I'm like better than you at it, so I don't get it that much, but it's but it happened now and again. So that's so those are the events for the qualifiers. So the same as OSG, you have to qualify for the second day. So, which I think, honestly, I not knowing anything about the other competitors, I think that there's a very good chance that all 3 guys can get through into the finals for that.
I believe so.
And the weights aren't like incredible. Like they're not like weights you look at where you're like, holy shit. Like some of the OSG weights were kind of like, god damn, these are fucking heavy.
The only one our guys going out there might not finish, if any, would be the bag throw.
That's the only one there's a level of concern with that. We're gonna mostly be doing damage control with that one.
Yeah.
Dan's gonna be very good with the other ones, and the bag won't be his best, but I think that there'll be a few guys that the bag's not gonna be their best. Yeah. So I think that we can kind of work around that, and if we can, we have a method, we have some plans in place to try to make that work for him, and we're just gonna see what's gonna happen with that one.
Yeah.
So then we're talking about the finals. We get an Arnold Classic here for the amateur guys, which is fun, which is the Hummer tire deadlift.
Yeah, that's something that I always dreamed of doing.
That's a fucking cool one.
That's something to check off the bucket list.
Yeah, whenever you see the guys, like the videos of Big Z or Brian Shaw or whatever, they're always using the Hummer tire deadlift, and it looks fucking cool. They used to do the Hummer tire deadlift because you used to win a Hummer for winning the Arnold.
How do you imitate that? By an elephant bar?
An elephant bar, pulling from a pick would be the best way to do it, but
it's the whippiness of the bar too that throws you.
Yeah, that'll be the weird thing. I think we'll probably like for me and Dan, like we'll probably just pull from the deadlift bar with a little bit of height to it.
I was just saying, what about if you put spacers at the collars?
Yeah,
and run 100-pound plates towards the end of the bar.
I've seen people do that, and that looks like it could probably work just fine. Yeah. So we'll see how much weight we can. Like I have the deadlift bar has a longer sleeve, so maybe we can get away with that. We'll have to see. So that one is excuse me. I think it's just like a rising bar. Yeah, it is. It's just rising bar. So that's really fun. I don't know what it starts at. It doesn't seem to say here, but I would safe to assume heavy.
Yeah.
This is the one that
more than I'm pulling on Saturday.
Yeah, this is one that I'm looking forward to for Dan, because his grip is good, but also his pain tolerance is quite good too.
The Dinny Stone handles.
The Dinny Stone ladder. Yep. I think that's going to be one that's going to be a lot more to do with how much you can handle that ring digging into your hand than. You know, obviously your grip's gonna be important.
Did you buy handles?
I'm in the process.
Are you getting them made?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you want some made?
From my guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta talk to him. I'm actually gonna call him right after this on the way home. So,
yeah.
You guys don't have to wait 8 months for them.
No, my welder's good.
He's good. He's fast. He's
This
fast.
guy's a personal friend
The
of mine.
T-shirts we got another problem with, but speaking of which, we're fucking working on it. I'm sorry.
You guys, we are told. I told you guys some messaged me already. I told them Friday, which the guy texted. I text Friday. I said, "Okay, my shirt's ready to pick up. I'm coming to get them." No, they didn't come in Wednesday.
I'm doing everything that I can to not put a small local business on public blast because I don't think that's fair to do. Well, even though it is fair, I'm just not going to do it because I think that.
We've been asking for a refund for a couple of weeks already.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I'll get him. I want to fulfill the order." The same guy did nationals.
Yeah. So
I probably gave him 6, 7, 8,000 hours of business this year.
Yeah. So we're not pleased with that whatsoever. But it says that they're using a deadlift bar for the thing. So it says deadlift bar TBD. So that might, I don't know what that means. And
to be
then
determined.
Yeah, I don't know what TBD means. So
LOL.
deadlift bar TBD. I'm not sure what brand that is, but I think it stands for the deadlift bar. And then there's the Denny Stone's ladder.
Deadlift.
My daughter that said
TBD.
BRB.
Oh yeah, I got that wrong. Shit.
My daughter that day and I was like BRB and walks away and I'm like, no, we do not.
You use acronyms like that.
Do not do that shit. Oh, I got one more story about that stuff. We'll talk about after this.
This is where I showed I was able to mask my intelligence by getting that acronym wrong. And then the last thing is a mystery event, which we're finding out on February the 17th.
Ooh, spooky.
Spooky event. I would guess a press. Because they already have a deadlift. They already either a loading or a press is what I would guess. Unless it's something that's just like, hey, we're doing the wheel of pain or something. I don't know. Who knows? But I like those events for our guys. Yeah. I don't know Garrett as personally as I know Dan, obviously, in terms of his training and stuff. Yeah. But from what I see, I think those are good events for him. He's a good presser. He's good
at bag throwing.
He's good at squatting too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good squatter. I think that he's good at bag throwing. I think that if he cleans up his technique a little bit with now that he has a little bit of time to do it, I think that he can get better with it. I think his technique is a little lacking, but he makes up for it by just being explosive and fast.
He's a garage guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So improving technique will be tough.
Yeah.
Because you need eyes on you.
That's right. It's him and his boy Alan who train in the gym there. They're the only guys who do strongman there. I think there's another guy who trains there too. But
he made his own gym, and it's actually a really nice little gym.
It looks like a nice little space there. Yeah, I'm really. Whenever I see there, I'm like, damn, I could see myself training in a place like that. But they, like you said, there's not enough guys. Yeah, and like it doesn't even have to be necessarily that you don't need like a bunch of really, really great guys, but you want guys who can give you different perspective on things. And hey, maybe try that. You know what I mean? But they're doing their thing out there, so respect for that. And they're going to be. I think we're gonna have a good showing at the Arnold's.
I think so.
I think it'll be fun to watch at the very least. So, what do we have for time there, Beeks?
We got
8 minutes.
Okay, so they're.
I had a story. I was in my gym the other day.
Please.
And you'll
been dying to hear it.
Yeah. Oh, it's you guys. It's good. And I'm leaving the gym, just trying to be courteous. And I'm like, "Hey, see you later, boys." A couple of the younger guys are there that I always shoot shit with, and there's a girl there, a newer girl. I'm like, "Oh, and girls," and I walk to my back door. Then someone says something behind me, they something, and I'm like, "What?" They, and I'm like, "What? What do you mean they?" Like, I was just saying to these people. I thought so I was being. She's like, "What if I'm a they?" And I'm like, "Then they should get the fuck out of my gym." And she kind of, this is the newer, she just looks at me and chuckles, but I'm like, "Not the right guy to pull that pronoun shit with."
Wow.
And the guys lost because they're all friends. So I think they were screwing with me.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen her since.
But also she's gone. And also I have a court subpoena on my, on my gym door.
Yeah. No, so my gym's getting shut down.
Two like those I've mentioned them before, but these two young guys who joined my gym who are very good power lifters already, and they're going to get better because now they're training with thrones. One of them is a cybersecurity guy.
Oh, great!
And if you ever want to feel like a fucking useless boomer, just hang out with this kid and listen. And like he could every fucking time I turn around, he could be fleecing me for all my shit if he wanted to. Like he could just like he.
They can hack in anything.
Okay, well, I don't get too much into it because I don't know what he's supposed to be doing or whatever. Yeah. But like he can do some pretty fucking amazing shit. He has a job where his job is protecting companies from this kind of stuff. So but it's because he has a knowledge in it and stuff. That's what helps him, whatever. But we popped by the Goodwill, the bar there on Portage, and they both
old stomping grounds.
Yeah. They both happened to be there, and Gianne was like, "Oh, I want to take a picture," so she takes her phone out. And she's like, "Oh, weird, my phone's off." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I have a thing in my pocket that's turning off everyone's phone in the building." It's just, yeah, but like that, and that's the crazy part is they can do like hardware stuff like that too. He can just like turn off your fucking phone, or he can walk by a Tesla and like just turn it on from his pocket. Or he can and I'm not saying he is doing these things, but he could do these things.
Has the capabilities.
Yes, like any building that has like an RFID, he can get in those things. Like it's just it's pretty crazy, and it's like he explains things to me. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, so he comes up to me and he's like, hey, did you know that Winnipeg Transit like bus stops all have free Wi-Fi now? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. And he's like, there's one over by the bread, like we're across the street from like a bread factory. He's like, one by the bread factory there that you can actually get the Wi-Fi in here.
At your gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the bread
He's
place.
like, you can get the Wi-Fi in here. And I was like, that's strange. And I opened my Wi-Fi thing, and I'm like, oh, sure enough, there's a Wi-Fi thing that's never been there before. Free Winnipeg Transit Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So I click on. I was like, oh no, I didn't click on it. I'm like, so what happens when I click on it? And he's like,
I was gonna say.
he's like, it's safe. You can click on it. So I click on it. Like I know he's fucking with me.
Yeah.
I click on it, and it's what it actually is that his laptop is over in that corner of the room. And so it sends me to a screen that says, hey, like, welcome to the free Winnipeg Transit Wi-Fi brought to you by Google. And it says, just sign in with your Google password and email and you're good to go. Free Wi-Fi. And so I was like, so what happens if I do that? And he's like, I just have your password and your email and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he says, like, because what people will do is, like, let's say your password is ABC. And you'll be like, ABC. And they just send you an error. It's like, your wrong password. And you're like, oh. Maybe this one's my 123 password. 123. So you just start trying different passwords, and now they have more of your passwords and whatever. And luckily, he's doing this. I think he told me he was doing it as like a project to for showing how these things can be done and making it part of his job or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that he's a good Christian boy and doesn't want to be fucking around like that because he could. And that's what. And I said that to him. I was like, how you could rip somebody off every fucking day of the week if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And I worked security for a cybersecurity company on. I work the real security, the security that matters, the physical security for this thing for their Christmas party. And I was talking to one of the guys where he's like a very high level doing this kind of stuff, where it's his job. Like banks hire him to be like, break into our shit if you can, and then if you can, then we'll pay you to fix it, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he was
what a sick job,
right? Yeah, and he
your best to screw up a whole system, and now we'll pay you to fix it.
And he was cool too. He was just like a total gym dude too. He was like, he walked over to me and was like, he's like, how much? He's like, what do you deadlift? And I was like, great question. He's like, we started talking about it, whatever. He was just like this jacked up little guy. But he was saying that I was like, and I said to him, I was like, why am I not getting ripped off just every day of the week? Like, why are regular people not just like every single day getting ripped off? And he was like, well, frankly, you're just not worth the jail time, the potential jail time for most people. And I was like, okay. He's like, because a lot of times people get caught when they're doing it. And it has to be really worth the time and the effort to put that kind of risk in.
Yeah.
He's like, because if I get your password, well, do you do all your banking on your email? I was like, no, none of it. And he's like, well, then there you go. I got nothing to get out of that. You know what I mean? So the way they explained it was kind of like relieving a little bit, where he's like, the guys who are really good at it get hired to stop other people from doing it.
Yeah.
And the guys who are not really good at it suck at it, right? So
I
was like, well, thank God for that, because like I said, if you ever want to feel like you're just like the world's slipping by you, just talk to these fucking guys, because they know, like, this kid's 19 years old, and I'll never learn more about computers. Like he's learning more every day, and he's gonna just like eventually I'll just walk in, the gym will just belong to him because he just made that choice one day.
Yeah,
you know.
I listen to this and I'm like, that's the cool thing. Like, we live two different lives. That's the equivalent of me being like, my buddy just bought military grade night vision.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, like, you guys, I can see everything in the dark. Like, he did.
There's nothing that I can't do right now.
Dude, yeah, he did. And I put it on. I'm like, this is disgusting. And I hit a switch on the gun and the whole bush lights up with a spotlight, but you can't see a thing. I had a laser on a forehead. You couldn't see I had a laser on your forehead. And I'm like, this, and to me, that's the city version of that's pretty freaking cool.
I like the idea that, like, I have night vision goggles. Now I'm unstoppable. Like,
some Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, where your buddy's like, I've got access to your whole life through your computer. I'm unstoppable. And I'm like, computers won't stop bullets.
You're like
the lotion in the basket.
He's gonna be like the guy from Zoolander where he smashes the computer. It's like, there, now I'm safe. Okay, so we'll call it there for a day. So if you're available, go check out Atalo's toy drive lift this weekend. See Devin hit a monster deadlift.
Well, Devin, you run our Instagram account. Maybe post something about it so people can find it.
Yeah, maybe it's you solely do
or
it.
Give one of us access.
yeah.
So if you got the time,
if you boo me at the thing, I will remove your valve stems from your tires.
There you go. I wouldn't do it.
Have fun leaving the property.
I know that I couldn't fix that. So, come by, bring a toy. Is that the idea? Yeah. Bring a toy or bring a little change in your pocket or whatever to drop by, whatever it might be. Come have a laugh at Devin's expense and enjoy everyone else lifting. Beaks, anything on your end?
Keep fit and have fun.
I don't think that I have anything. So with that, see you guys next week.